Trump supporters out in full force in Dallas last night to hear the president's 2020 message. He railed against potential Democratic rivals, and he railed against the impeachment inquiry. Watch this.
But the more America achieves, the more hateful and enraged these crazy Democrats become. Crazy. That crazy Nancy, she is crazy. And Shifty Schiff, how about this guy? Sleepy Joe, I don't think he's got it. I thought Pocahontas was gone, left in embers. You got to give her credit. Those embers, they kept going. Now it looks like she's doing better.
The president also unleashing barbs on Texan Beto O'Rourke. He was staging a counter rally nearby.
Last week, a very dumb Democrat candidate for president, that's the end of him in this state, pledged to revoke the tax-exempt status of many churches and religious charities. That was after, a few weeks ago, he said, "Excuse me, we're going to take your guns away." That doesn't work well. And I called him right. Remember the flailing arms? Nobody noticed it. I noticed it.
I did. Emily, you think the president has any worry that Texas might be going blue? He seems to be showing up there a lot.
He seems pretty confident, right? This is the 12th time he's visited Texas since taking office. That was more times than Obama went in both of his terms. So I think that Beto arguing he can take Texas back and take those 38 electoral votes, the 30,000 people outside of that arena beg to differ. I want to point out that those massive crowds, too, are the result, obviously, of this impeachment play by Democrats. And for those that argue, well, the numbers are growing for impeachment or for the inquiry, that's still the top priority for very few of them. All that is doing is galvanizing all of those people there that are cheering for him.
Well, that's an interesting point, Jesse. In fact, there was a poll today, I think it said in Iowa, only like 6% of Iowans think that impeachment should be or is their top concern. You can see the poll there on the screen. But in fact, I mean, it is the case, as Emily was saying, that the numbers in terms of people who not only want the president impeached but want him removed from office is also growing nationally.
I like that poll that you cited, Juan, just the 6%. All the other polls you cite, I don't like them very much.
All right.
Yeah, it was a huge crowd. It was at 20,000 inside, another 10,000 outside. No Democrat could get anywhere close to those kind of numbers. They couldn't do it in California, I bet. Right. We'll see what Bernie can do here. I think this weekend he's got the squad here, and Michael Moore is going to be joining him. But speaking of crazy people, Tom Arnold tweeted an assassination joke about the president of the United States. You know, don't get cocky. The last time JFK was in Dallas, you know what happened. Horrific. He actually deleted it, how bad it actually was. And could you imagine if a famous celebrity said that about Barack Obama? It's horrible. And, you know, we've heard so many stories all week about how dangerous these videos are coming out of the Republican Party. Some small video on some small TV screen at, like, you know, some Trump thing. This guy has millions of followers, major Hollywood celebrity, assassination jokes about the president, and no one is talking about it on CNN.
I disagree. He is not a major celebrity.
Not a world-class celebrity like you.
Wait a minute. The president's not a major celebrity, and they've got a video of him shooting his opponent?
Did he make that video, Juan?
Oh,
no.
Yeah, no.
It was Tom Arnold that hit the buttons on the keyboard.
It's running at a Trump event. All right, let's move on. Dana, you know, one of the arguments here is the Democrats are focused on impeachment, and so the rest of their agenda gets obscured. But this week, what we've seen is, you know, Nancy Pelosi and her House crew unveiled a plan this week on education. They want to have a vote to lower drug prices. They passed a health care plan back in May that's stuck in the Senate. So is it the case that they are able to do two things at one time?
No, because if you think about, Paul Ryan made this argument as well, right? That the House, when you have the majority, you can pass a lot of things. You can pass 232 bills, and they would say, we've passed 232 bills, and now they're sitting over in the Senate, not getting any attention. And that's why the Democrats have decided Mitch McConnell is public enemy number one, because he's not able to get their agenda done. They had a choice. They didn't have to do impeachment, and Nancy Pelosi held off for a long time so that she would be able to protect her members. That became unsustainable. So, no, I don't think they're able to. You can pass a ton of bills in the House. It doesn't matter if you can't get it done in the Senate. You can't show
So
that you
Mitch
have
McConnell
done.
is the guy that should get the blame.
No. Why? Because Mitch McConnell doesn't want to pass bills that he thinks are not good?
No, I think he doesn't want to pass anything. I think he's, what is that phrase he uses for himself now? Grave? Something that he just, everything gets caught.
The Grim Reaper?
The Grim Reaper. There you go. Thanks, Jess.
The other thing, if I could just comment on the rally, and I think going to Texas at this point, it's not because you're worried about Texas. Texas, you have a huge base of support. You can do a lot of fundraising. And the other important thing is they have this amazing digital operation on the Trump campaign. And they go there, they get all the information. That way they can go back to them over and over again, get out to vote, make sure that those people's neighbors are getting out to vote. The energy is incredible. I think the Democrats they're having a debate about impeachment, and they're also exceedingly worried about electability. And if you're still talking about electability, they don't have anybody that is like ginning up any enthusiasm. If I could use a word from previous days in the week, ginning up does not mean anything to do with alcohol. It has to do with horses.
Thank you.
Drunk horses.
All right, so Greg, the president, boy, he was fired up last night. So he's saying that Warren is a bum, Schiff is shifty, O'Rourke is dumb,
Shocking.
Pelosi is crazy.
Disgusting.
And he says about that situation in Syria, there's a lot of sand.
Yeah.
Let them fight. Let them fight like two kids, you know, before you pull them apart.
Yeah, there's a great comparison to be made here. While thousands of everyday Americans were at a Trump rally, the establishment media covers the Al Smith dinner. So I'm at the gym in the morning, and what they do is they cover an event where bold-faced names, you know, tell speeches written by other people. That was the news. The news was Mattis roasting Trump at an event where people roast each other. That to them was more preferable than seeing what's happening on the ground in Dallas, where America's cab driver, Donald Trump, is speaking their language and saying what everybody, the majority of Americans, have felt about the Middle East forever, that there are different groups of people killing each other, and maybe it's time we move away from and let them settle it themselves. By the way, Trump isn't a politician. He's a drug, and he gives people different experiences. So his supporters get a dopamine rush when they're there because they know what he's doing. He speaks to them directly. Meanwhile, the never-Trumpers, they also get a dopamine rush from what he says and what he does. Oh, my word, he says this. Oh, I can't believe it. They're getting high on the hate of him. But the bottom line is, he's closer to the ground than any of the Democratic politicians. That drives Joe Scarborough and the people like him nuts, who now have to resort to calling everybody stupid, which is what Scarborough does when he talks about the rallies. He's saying these people are just stupid, and it's like, no, you don't. You just can't understand what's going on in America. You're stupid.
But I think that, you know, President Trump is so entertaining.
Yeah.
To your point, I think people love to turn out. Now, Dana makes a great point. They get data out of this, but I mean, the fact is, Trump puts on a show. I don't know that means people are going to vote for him.
Well, they did last time.
Well, they remember who won the election in terms of popular vote.
Popular vote.
I know, you know what? That hurt. That hurt.
Popular vote.
What are you
Screw the
gonna do?
electoral college.
Yeah, most Americans. Who wants to hear from them?